I want to start by being honest with you about something I did not realize until I added up my receipts from the last 5 years. I spent over $800 on bagged mulch. That is mulch for beds I had already mulched the year before. And the year before that, I was rebuying the same product to cover the same ground because that is what you do. You mulch in spring, maybe again in fall. You top it off, you keep it looking fresh. And then I walked past a section of my garden where I had planted creeping thyme 3 years earlier, and I realized I had not mulched that area once since the thyme filled in. Not because I forgot, because I did not need to. That is exactly what this video is about. These 9 perennials spread to form a living carpet dense enough that they do the same job mulch does. They block weeds, they hold moisture in the soil, they cover bare ground. But they do it permanently. You plant them once, they spread, and you are done buying mulch for that area. Let's get into it. Plant number 1, creeping thyme. Thymus serpyllum. This is the one that made me rethink my entire mulch budget. You plant it on 6 to 8 inch centers in full sun. For the first year, it looks like individual plants with bare soil between them. You will be tempted to mulch around it. Do not. By the end of year 2, those plants have spread into each other. By year 3, you have a solid mat 2 to 3 inches tall that nothing is getting through. I have a 30-foot pathway lined with creeping thyme that has not seen a single weed in 2 seasons. Here is what nobody tells you at the point of sale. It needs foot traffic or shearing to stay tight. If you never walk on it and never cut it back, it gets leggy in the center. But if you are using it as a mulch layer in a bed where you are stepping in to tend other plants, that traffic keeps it dense. It also flowers. Depending on the variety, you get pink or white blooms in late spring. That is not why you are planting it, but it is a benefit you do not get from wood chips. Plant number 2, Phlox subulata, creeping phlox. This one spreads faster than thyme. You plant it on 8 to 12 inch centers, and by the second season, you have full coverage. It forms a mat about 4 inches tall, dense enough that I have not had a single weed come through it in the 3 years since it filled in. Now, it does go dormant in my zone if we have a cold winter. The foliage stays, but it browns out. If you are using this as living mulch in a highly visible front yard bed, that might bother you. It does not bother me. Even brown, it is still blocking weeds and holding soil moisture. And then in April, it covers itself in flowers, bright pink, white, purple, depending on what you plant. For 2 weeks, it looks like someone rolled out a floral carpet. Then it goes back to being a quiet, functional ground cover for the rest of the year. Here is what I did not know when I planted it. It wants decent drainage. I put some in a low spot that stays damp in spring, and it rotted out. Pull it from wet areas. This is a plant for slopes, berms, and beds that do not hold water. Plant number 3, Sedum spurium, 2-row stone crop. If you have a dry, sunny area where nothing else wants to grow, this is your mulch layer. I planted it in a hell strip next to my driveway where the soil is terrible and the reflected heat in summer is brutal. It is not just survived, it has thrived. You plant it on 6 to 8 inch centers. It spreads by stems that root wherever they touch the ground. By the end of the first season, you have runners connecting the original plants. By the end of year 2, it is solid. The foliage stays low, about 2 inches tall, and it is evergreen in my zone. The flowers come up on taller stems in midsummer, usually pink or red depending on the cultivar. After they fade, I cut the flower stalks down, and the mat stays tight and weed-free underneath. Here is what nobody tells you. It does not compete well with aggressive weeds in the establishment phase. If you plant it in an area full of crabgrass or bindweed, those weeds will outpace it in year 1. You need to start with clean soil or be willing to hand pull weeds around it while it fills in. After that, it is bulletproof. Plant number 4, Mazus reptans. Stay with me on this one because it is not as commonly sold as the others, but it is worth tracking down if you have a partly shaded area that stays consistently moist. This plant wants conditions most ground covers hate. It likes shade. It likes moisture. I planted it under a downspout area where the soil stays damp and hostas were rotting out. Mazus has formed a dense, 2-inch tall carpet that has not allowed a single weed through in 2 years. It spreads by runners, and it spreads fast. You can plant it on 12-inch centers and have full coverage by the end of the first season if the conditions are right. It also flowers in late spring with small purple blooms that cover the whole mat. Now, it is not evergreen in cold zones. It dies back to the ground in winter and reemerges in spring. But even dormant, the root mat is dense enough that weeds do not establish. Here is the fine print. It does not tolerate drought. If you plant this in a dry area, it will struggle and thin out. This is not a xeric plant. This is for the problem wet spot in your yard where mulch washes away every time it rains. Plant number 5, Ajuga reptans, carpet bugleweed. This is one of the most common ground covers sold, and for good reason. It works. You plant it in part shade to full shade, and it will fill in to create a 6-inch tall weed-blocking layer that stays evergreen through winter. I planted it under a mature maple tree where grass had given up. The Ajuga filled in within 2 seasons and has required zero maintenance since. No mulch, no weeding. It just sits there and does its job. It flowers in spring with blue or purple spikes, depending on the variety. Some cultivars have dark purple foliage, some have variegated leaves. All of them spread the same way, by runners that root into the soil. Here is what I want you to know going in. It spreads, and I do not just mean it fills in the area you planted it. I mean it will move into your lawn if you let it. You need to edge it once or twice a season to keep it contained, or accept that it is going to colonize everywhere the mower does not reach. If that bothers you, do not plant Ajuga. If you are fine with a little management in exchange for never mulching that area again, it is a good choice. Plant number 6, Lamium maculatum, dead nettle. This one is for shade, deep shade. The kind of shade where mulch grows moss and everything you plant etiolates and dies. Lamium forms a mat about 8 inches tall with silvery variegated foliage that actually brightens up dark areas. It spreads at a moderate pace, not as fast as Ajuga, but steady. You plant it on 10 to 12-inch centers, and by year 2, you have solid coverage. It flowers in late spring, usually pink or white, and then it goes back to being a foliage ground cover for the rest of the season. I have it planted under a dense spruce where nothing else would grow, and it has not needed mulch, water, or any attention in 3 years. Now, it does flop if it gets too much shade and not enough light. The stems get long and the coverage gets spotty. If that happens, shear it back in midsummer. It will regrow tight and full. Plant number 7, Protea pedunculata, blue star creeper. This one stays low, 2 inches tall maximum. It forms a tight mat that you can walk on, and it tolerates light foot traffic better than most ground covers. I planted it between stepping stones in a pathway, and it has filled in to create a solid carpet that softens the hardscape and blocks any weeds from coming up in the gaps. It also flowers all summer with tiny blue star-shaped blooms. Here is what you need to know. It wants regular moisture, not wet soil, but consistent moisture. If it dries out repeatedly, it will thin and die back in patches. This is not a plant for a xeric bed. This is for areas that get regular water, either from irrigation or rainfall. It spreads by runners, and once it is established, it is dense enough that weeds do not break through. Plant number 8, Sagina subulata, Irish moss. This is not actually a moss. It is a perennial that looks like moss. It forms an incredibly tight mat, less than an inch tall, that feels soft underfoot and stays bright green year-round in moderate climates. I planted it between pavers, and it has created a living grout that nothing else can penetrate. No weeds, no gaps, just solid green coverage. It needs sun to part shade and regular moisture. It does not tolerate drought or heavy foot traffic. This is for visual areas, not pathways you walk on daily. It flowers in late spring with tiny white blooms, but they are so small you barely notice them. Plant number 9, Vinca minor, Periwinkle. I am ending with this one because it is the most aggressive spreader on this list, and you need to go in with realistic expectations. Vinca minor will cover ground faster than almost any other perennial. You plant it on 18-inch centers, and within 2 years you have a solid mat 8 inches tall that nothing is getting through. It is evergreen. It tolerates deep shade. It handles dry soil under trees. It works where other plants give up, but it does not stop. It will spread into areas you did not plant it. It will climb over low plants. In some regions, it has escaped cultivation and naturalized in woodlands. Here is my advice. If you have a large, difficult area that you are currently mulching every year and nothing else will grow there, Vinca will solve that problem permanently. But do not plant it near delicate perennials or anywhere you might want something else later. So here is what all 9 of these have in common. They spread, they stay low, they form dense mats that block weeds just like mulch does, and once they are established, they eliminate the need to buy, haul, and spread mulch ever again in those areas. Drop a comment below and tell me if you have replaced mulch with any living ground cover and what zone you are gardening in, because there are gardeners in your exact climate reading this comment section trying to figure out what will actually work. If this is the kind of information you want before you spend another $1 on bag mulch this season, subscribe.